People who say they cut ties with family, friends, or acquaintances over political beliefs, i.e. that those people they cut ties with are Trump supporters or in MAGA, it actually occurred to me that they're not cutting ties because those people have political beliefs that they just deeply disagree with. They're actually cutting ties with those people because they don't have political beliefs at all, and the only belief they do have is in Trump. Let me explain. Madeleine Albright, who was the first female U.S. Secretary of State who served under President Bill Clinton, said in her 2018 book, Fascism, a warning sign, that fascism is not an ideology, it's actually a process for taking and holding power. Ray Dalio, a billionaire and former hedge fund manager of Bridgewater & Associates, which is one of the largest hedge funds in the world that he started, in his book titled Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crises, he said that fascism and communism are two sides of the same coin that is populism that arises with the confluence of the micro and macroeconomic debt cycles, which basically means that fascism and communism both arise on the right and left respectively during periods of time where there is a massive amount of debt and a lot of people are experiencing economic instability, much like the time period we're currently living in today with the record amount of government debt and the amount of debt that private citizens have. So during this time period, you would expect to see a lot of fascism and communism. The important detail that Albright highlights in her book is that fascism is not an ideology. And you can actually see this plainly if you pay attention to how they are after Trump does something that completely contradicts conservative or Republican values. It seems like to these people that Trump can't do anything wrong. I've actually even seen supporters say that he could kill someone or shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they wouldn't lose support for him. Trump has done things that are against conserving the Constitution, against conservatism, and they don't lose support of him. Trump is trying to repeal the 14th Amendment without going through Congress, but instead just trying to use an executive order to overturn it in the courts, which is clearly against the Constitution because the 14th Amendment is part of the Constitution, i.e. that is deeply against constitutional conservatism. Trump, in his own words, has said in the Oval Office that he has effectively killed the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. Trump has detained and effectively human trafficked American citizens with no due process, i.e. the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, and with Trump's ICE raids, he's effectively just trying to do away with the Fourth Amendment, which is Americans' right to privacy from illegal search and seizure, by detaining American citizens without any reasonable suspicion. There are countless instances of Trump defying and trying to terminate the Constitution, and these MAGA supporters and Trump lovers simply turn the other way and blind themselves, but still call themselves conservatives and Republicans, which they can't be, because he is violating the very thing they're trying to conserve. They say they believe in these constitutionally conservative and Republican values, but their actions show that they don't. And that, at its core, is I think the point that Albright was trying to make in her book, that fascism is not an ideology. They may say they believe in the ideology that is constitutional conservatism or republicanism, but their actions show otherwise. They don't actually have an ideology. They only care about taking and holding power.